Our blogger sounds a bit weird. I didn't expect that it will be so much attention. And when I saw this huge line outside, my first thought was to escape. Thank you very much for having me here, and it's a great privilege to talk in the London School of Economics. And actually, I'm very curious to be here because London School of Economics is very popular in Moscow. And a lot of bad guys in the teachers I investigate, they have London School of Economics in their background. So I wonder, what's going on here? Is there a kind of special course for embezzlement? Okay, I'm ready to answer a question.
Well, how about I'll let you stand up there and I'll just ask them from here. Let me ask you first, Alexey, how you got started as a campaigner against corruption. What motivated you to do this?
David, have you ever seen the list of the most rich people of Britain in the Forbes magazine? They all Russians. And Russia now enjoys with the enormous amount of money. Actually, within all its history, Russia have never been so rich because of the prices for oil and gas, and metals, etc. So now it's time of opportunities for Russia, and I'm not sure that we, in our future, will have such opportunities. But all this money, they were just and all our opportunities, they were just stolen by these groups and thieves. And it's not because of capitalism, it's just because of political system which suppressed real political activities just to have an opportunity for investment, for taking kickbacks, and for bribery. So, and I'm taking this very personal. Actually, I think that they are stealing my opportunities, my money, and my opportunities and money from my children. And I'm trying to appeal to other citizens of Russia that I ask them to take it very personal. So actually, I don't have any other choices. I think we must to fight these people, and we must try to change something.
Okay. What was the first time you realized the power that your blog could have?
About blogging. Actually, I didn't want to be a blogger. And actually, I really hate to write. And sometimes it's really torturing to have a blog, because if you have a blog, you must write every single day. And it's really annoying, because sometimes you don't have any topics or issue to write, but you must write, because if I write every day, I have about 100,000 visitors per day. If I don't write, I have the next day 50,000, the next day 5,000, and next day just my mom will check. But it's just I don't have any other option because of the totally closed media field in the traditional media. The blog was the only option to do something and to explain to the people about my work. So I started to just posting very boring legal documents in my blog, and people found it interesting, and it became a sort of show how one guy fights corruption. And when I, for the first time, realized that it really works for the kind of campaign against corruption, it was then two years ago, 2.5, I had a criminal investigation against Gazprom. And it was a very successful investigation, and we've opened the whole scheme of embezzlement. We found all documents, and police was a bit supportive for us. And one of the top managers of Gazprom, he was really even indicted with this crime, which is very, very seldom for Russia. And one day, they just this case was taken from this particular police department to another police department and dismissed. And the police officer who had this investigation, he just phoned furious, and I was so angry. I just bought this, posted in my blog, all this story, and asked people to write complaints with me to the General Prosecution Office. Within 3 days, we wrote about 2,000 complaints, and this case was returned to the previous police department, and all orders was cancelled. Of course, within the next year, they dismissed this case, and no one was prosecuted. But this particular time, I realized that it can work, and I still use it.
Terrific. And could you tell me what made you decide to set up a formal system like Rospil, the crowdsourcing system for tracking corruption?
Rospil, it's all about government procurement. Government and the state in Russia is everywhere, and government it's buying everything: food, gasoline, weapon, computers, everything. And according to the Russian law, these bid opportunities, they should be on the special website, and everyone can just check. So, and it's very normal for Russia that every bid opportunities and every single procurement have a kickback at least 30%. And everyone can just track it through the internet. So we decided to create a system how to try to fight it. The states spend every year about 5 trillion rubles for the government procurement, and even President Medvedev declared publicly that from these 5 trillion rubles, 1 trillion is just stolen every year. So we decided to create kind of system when we connect efforts from the different people. Because we have at that time, when we started Rospil, I became a sort of informal center of corruption fighting in the internet. And I got every single day hundreds of the letters. We want to inform you that this particular bid opportunity is corrupt because of such and such. So, but we need to connect. We need to connect these people who made monitors in the blog and lawyers who are ready to fight right complaints. We started this Rospil, but we had a problem because we needed at least 5 lawyers to make this legal work, and we didn't have any money for this. And we started a very risky experiment for Russia, which don't have any experience for crowdfunding. I declared that I created the analog for the PayPal, it's Russian PayPal, Yandex Money system, and I said to everyone, to the readers of my blog, guys, I want you to collect the money. The target, maximum target was to collect $100,000 within a year, but we managed to collect 250,000 within 2 months. And it wasn't because I work so efficient or people like me so much or my blog is so popular. I think this is the example how people just fed up with the corruption. And it was the sort of delegation. They hire me and other lawyers to fight corruption. We have, actually we have $20,000 for the Rospil. And it's became, I think, the biggest civil society organization in Russia. It still doesn't register, and it's very, very informal. But I think that this is a significant example of the civil society activity.
One of the things that strikes me about Rospil, and which you mentioned just now, is that it's very dependent on the fact that all of the tenders, the bid opportunities, are publicly available. Could you talk about how that came to pass? You mentioned President Medvedev saying that 1 out of 5 rubles of government procurements is stolen. Would you view yourself as kind of a partner in that anti-corruption campaign?
I definitely don't feel good things about Rospil, but it's very difficult to criticize it publicly. A lot of officials, they can say, this Navalny, he's a political extremist, he's a nationalist, he's kind of bad guy, but it's very difficult to criticize Rospil itself, because the idea is very good and everyone's ready to support it. So from time to time we are playing with it. Come on guys, President Medvedev said we should fight corruption, and we are fighting corruption. From time to time, it helps us to do the connections with the officials, for example, Russian Committee of Antitrust Committee, which investigate this corruption and the bid opportunities. But again, to the President Medvedev, I definitely don't want here to promote this very popular advocacy about bad Putin and good President Medvedev. Bad cop and good cop. All of them, both of them, they are bad cops. I said before about my investigation in Gazprom, so I should add to it that this crime was committed in Gazprom when President Medvedev was the chief of the board of Gazprom. So President Medvedev is totally this part of this corruption part in Russia.
As you mentioned, you're a lawyer, and as your stories have revealed, you are trying to rely on the legal system to get things done, as well as the actions of people. On the other hand, your stories also reveal that the legal system itself is threatened with corruption. So do you feel like you can be a force, or the people that support you be a force for effective change in the Russian legal system?
Of course, Russian legal system is totally under the state control, and for officials it's very easy to press judges, everyone. But it's all we have. We don't have any other legal system in Russia, so we just use what we have because we will not succeed in other cases. And it's a good thing about inefficient of the state. It's even inefficient in protecting of the corruptionists. So from time to time we can win the cases. For example, I sued Russian state control companies, Rosneft and Transneft, very big companies, and no one believed that we can force them to expose some documents which they must to give to the minority shareholders as me. No one believed we will do it, but we did it because system is so inefficient, so vague, and so strange that we can just find the right place.
All right. I just had one last question for you before giving you a chance to show people some of the things you've turned up. There have been what look, from the outside anyway, like a lot of attempts to intimidate you and to silence you, among the most significant being the distributed denial of service attacks on the big LiveJournal, the big blogging site, which were clearly linked with your activity. Do you worry that the conditions for you to do the work you're doing are going to go away at some point?
That is another good thing about the inefficiency of the system. Even when these people, they have a special budgets for the attacking my website or harassing my supporters, these people just stealing this money. And internet in Russia is still basically free, and it's not very easy to block our project. And second, which is the most important, we are trying to create kind of uncentralized system. It sounds fun to be only crusader and fighter against corruption, but it doesn't work like this. Only team can operate efficiently, and our idea is the creating a system when if you can switch off one guy, the system will continue to work.
Thank you very much. Let me now invite you to present some slides you prepared. I think if you have somebody from Congress.
Yes, I want to show you a couple of slides, very, very brief, just to explain to those people who cannot read it in Russian and don't know about my work. I just want to explain you some principles, very brief, maybe 5 minutes, and then we can move to the question Q&A session. Okay. Grassroots corruption fighting. From this name of the slides, you might think that there is a grassroots corruption fighting and other corruption fighting. Unfortunately, grassroots corruption fighting is only corruption fighting we have in Russia. So let's move to some principles and topics. We use the most irritating topics for our fighting. First of all, it's corruption in the state-controlled public companies. State-controlled public companies, they have more than 53% of market capitalization in Russia. So actually, all Russian economy is about state-controlled companies. And we expose corruption in this company, and it's really annoying for the people. From the one side, every single day they hear from the television that we have our very huge and big Gazprom, we are proud of it. We have Rosneft, we are proud of it. And in my blog, I just showing documents that people, that the scale of embezzlement, this is just something impossible. And another very important topic, as I said before, it's government procurement. And this is an important topic because everyone can follow the government procurement on the special website, as I said. And third thing is the linking corruption to political establishment, which is something new for a civil activity in Russia, because civil activists before, they prefer to stay away from the politics. You know, you are a politician, this is something kind of dirty work, and we are civil activists, and they try to avoid of unpleasant question about Putin, about United Russia, and they try to stay away. But my point is, I'm trying to direct link corruption and politics. And I think people found my position more honest. Main principles. First of all, it's personalization. We are not fighting against corruption in general. Corruption means this particular guy with this particular picture, and that is his name, and we're going to prosecute this particular guy. Direct personal involvement and opportunity to participate. It's very important because we want people to fight with us. Maybe their participation would be very small, just with filing complaints through the internet reception of General Prosecution Office. But this is, anyway, this is important. How it works in practice. Please meet Mr. Unibro. His name is Alexey, and he used to work in the Ministry of the Healthcare in Russia, and he was responsible for the AT technology department. Alexey declared a bid opportunity for the constructing of website for the Ministry of the Healthcare, and the cost of this website was $2 million. But what is much more impressive, according to the condition of this bid opportunity, this website should be constructed within 10 days, and everyone understand that it's just impossible. And everyone understands that this guy have a company which have already done with the website. This bid opportunity is just a way to legalize this money. It was published in the internet, and all IT community was infuriated with that, but nothing happened. So we decided to harass a bit this guy. We posted his picture. Because of his funny face, it was a lot of, it was something, you know, as Americans did with the Sarah Palin during the election. And in 2 days later, was one of our successes. It has some negative consequences for me because after this small success story, I had much more letters and much more signals, and actually that was the case which was the kind of starting point for the roster, because after this case we realized we can't work for with the government procurement without creation of special system. Challenges for our work. First of all, we have a lot of people who are ready to help me in my case. I have a lot of letters, and I'm sure a couple of you will come to me after this lecture and said, Alexey, I want to help. Please give us a job or something. But I don't have any jobs. I have a lot of supporters and a lot of people, but it's very difficult to organize it and to administer it. It's easier for me to do this job by myself than to explain what you should do and how you should do it. And we have a kind of base of our supporters, hundreds of people, but we still don't understand how to organize this work of the volunteers. Attention of the audience. This is the law of the internet. You cannot be fancy guys more than 1 year. And of course, maybe 1 year ago, I was the Alexey Navalny. He's the cool guy who's fighting corruption. And now it's oh yes, it's Alexey Navalny who's fighting corruption. Boring. And the question which arises more and more often: how many people are in prison because of your activity? And the answer is 0, because I'm not a policeman, and I cannot, in this current political system, put people in prison. So it's very difficult to keep the attention of the audience all the time. As I said before, it's a kind of show, how people fighting corruption. But if this show is without results and without drama, people get tired. So we're trying to invent something new and keep the attention of the audience. People want quick results. I'm appealing to the people, guys, let's write complaints and let's file some complaints against Mr. Unibro. The next day, I got letters. Yes, yesterday we filed a complaint. What happened? Nothing happened. And nothing will happen within a month, and nothing will happen within 3 months, because the investigation is something very, very low. Investigation and litigation. That's a very long process, and again, it's very difficult to keep the attention for a long time. So we try to invent something new all the time. And this is the Victor Vexelberg is the Russian oligarch. And this is the example as we now trying to invent something new to put pressure on this guy. He's the very respectful businessman, and now he's appointed as the head of high technology project called Skolkar. But this guy is totally corrupt, and we investigated case against him when he knew that Russian ministry want to buy a particular building in Moscow. He had an agreement, a formal agreement. He paid bribes to some Russian officials, and he bought this building for the $20 million. And in a couple of days, he sold it to the government for the $160 million. And the market price of this building was something about $30 million. So we can say that this building was it belongs to the Hungarian embassy. And now in Hungary there is a criminal investigation because he paid bribes to the Hungarian officials to pay this building lower than market price. And then he paid bribes to the Russian officials to pay it much higher than the market price. But because this guy is so close to President Medvedev, there is no criminal investigation, and he refused to respond to all our questions and so on and so forth. So now we're trying to do this kind of interesting thing because of his position. He's lecturing all the time, and he's moving from the university to university with the advocacy and explaining that please come to Russia, and we are promoting new technology. And I'm totally sure that he will be, one day, he will be talking right here. So we are creating now a special group on Facebook, and we are inviting in this group on Facebook people from the different universities and institutions. And we want to be sure that in any place when this guy will be lecturing, someone in the audience will raise his hand and ask, Mr. Alexey, could you explain us what happened with the Hungarian embassy building? And actually, we have no idea if it works or it doesn't work, but we will try. And for this particular case, we invite you to participate in this experiment. So this is my short presentation, and if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Terrific. Now, as I see there are people out there with microphones, because it's a large room, if you could wait until the microphone gets to you before asking your questions. And I'll just call on people that would like to ask questions. Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much for this opportunity and for everyone who would like to see this event and Alexey. Obviously, most of us, we know your work. And I just would like to say that I also support it, and I'm a reader of your blog for like 2 years probably. And I just saw like probably last 2 or 3 weeks ago your post that in the coming elections we should vote for any party but United Russia. In this light, I just have maybe just to clarify that, because as you know, like this is probably in the parliament, like it's the vote for all parties, and they all work in the same area, and they do share basically all the responsibility for what happens in political life and in economics as well. So even if we basically vote for any other political party, I don't know how to explain it in English, but in Russian it's the expression "отнять и поделить," and we already experienced that in 90s. And basically, if we vote for anyone else, then we can enter the period when it would be again like the "отнять и поделить," basically. And you were saying, like in your words, that it's good to have the team. So basically, another possibly part of my question is how can we make sure that your work, it continues and it becomes more structural approach with more parties involved, like political and social, so it becomes more stable basically. Yeah, that's basically it.
Thank you. I wonder how many Russians in this audience. It's because it's anyway, there is a sense to speak English, because it's really torturing for me to speak English, but and it would be kind of weird if to speak English with just only Russians. Okay, as for election, of course we should understand that the main supporter of Putin and Putin's corrupt regime is the United Russia. And all other political parties, they just playing in this theater, just with the smaller roles. But anyway, of course we can choose the way of ignoring election and boycotting of election. But that is the way which leads us to nowhere. And I think my strategy is creating problems for this regime. And when I appeal to vote to all other parties but against United Russia, we are creating the problems. And we even can understand the scale of this problems, because when I launched this campaign against United Russia, I have much more pressure on me than before, when I just investigate Gazprom and all others. So I understand that all of these other parties, they are not independent political parties, but it's just a fake. But we should help these small parties under control to, I don't know, to raise their voice. Because if we will get down United Russia, their role will increase. I understand that this is the kind of weird scheme, but we should use the opportunities which we have. And this is creating the political struggle of this election by with the strategy we and them, all of us against them, everybody against United Russia, all parties against Putin. And that is very important for the our other next steps and our future political fight. What was the next question? The second one.
The second was about creating basically the effective structure of fighting, because even if you vote for other parties, those who side the lobbyists and the center, behind those other parties, it's exactly the same industrial groups who would lobby these parties for exactly the same outcomes in any situation.
I think it's just a mistake to think that a real political struggle can be just with the using of the parties, and we should choose this party or against this party. The real political fight, I think, in Russia nowadays is the so-called non-system politics. Look at me, I'm a politician. I think I'm a politician, and everyone sure that I'm a politician, but I'm not a member of the political party. So it's just irrelevant. Support them or them. We should create problems for the system, because it looks very powerful and big,